Hi, this is Brad with Copper Creek Cuts, a lawn care company in Northeast Florida. As promised, this is your 200,000 subscriber question and answer session. So first of all, thank you so much for the 200,000 folks who subscribed. In the grand scheme of things, 200,000 is not a big number, but for me, that's a huge number. For a lawn care channel, that's a huge number. So thank you guys very much for that. And with that out of the way, we'll go ahead and dive into the questions. Michael Sinclair asks, are you ex-military? Most of the time when I get that question, it's because of my demeanor or appearance. So let's go through those things. If you hear, which I don't guess I talk to many people in these videos, so you don't hear sirs or ma'ams, but I'm Southern in a rural county is where I was raised, so that's pretty common. That's one reason people ask. The other is the hairstyle. This is, I am close and high and tight, and then now I just go ahead and shave everything off. But no, I don't have any hair. That's why I shave my head. What bits of kit are your most useful? Probably the mowers. That's what does the majority of the work. But I mean, I have to have everything I have. You know, you take away an edger and I can't put a good edge on a lawn and it doesn't look good. And take away a blower and I can't clean up. So they're all pretty useful. Do you have to ask your wife before buying new work kit? I do, so just hoping it's not just me. No, if it's a big purchase, I'll talk with her beforehand and say, hey, this is what I'm thinking. This is why I'm thinking it's a good purchase, that kind of thing. Miranda asks, have you always been so passionate about lawn care? When you were a kid, did you go out and mow everybody's lawn? No, not at all. The main reason I'm even doing this is because I was a stay-at-home dad. I still mainly am a stay-at-home dad, but I retired from full-time work to be a stay-at-home dad for about 2 years when our son was born. So I had really little kids. And as they got older, I wanted to, kind of get back out and do some work and help my wife with the finances of the house. And lawn care is one of the only things where, it can be whatever kind of schedule you want it to be. Couldn't really work for anybody because as an employee, you've got to be flexible to your employer's schedule, not the other way around. And so it was really just, I've got free time now. I want to work. I want to make money. What do I do? Lawn care. Okay, let's do that. It just so happens that once I started doing overgrown lawns, I found out that I did really like that. So, but at the very beginning, no, it wasn't about passion or anything. Trucking adventures. How did you get into lawn care? Just covered it. I'm trying to think if there's anything I left out. So basically when my wife and I started having kids, we looked at her job and her earning potential and her education versus mine, and she could make hands down more money than I could at that point in time. She still can now. I don't know what I'm saying at that point in time. So we said, well, I don't mind staying at home. If you don't mind working, I'll be a stay-at-home dad. So I did that. That was in 2015. I retired from working for Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida. I had been working for them for about 11 years. I started with them as a junior in high school and went on full-time when I graduated. So was full-time stay-at-home dad for a few years, and then as this thing being the lawn care YouTube thing has taken off, I've slowly worked a little bit more, but I'm still mainly a stay-at-home dad, so I don't usually work more than 3 or 4 days a week during the busiest times, spring and summer. A follow-up question, did you ever think you would grow your channel to the size it is at? No, I hoped, but I did not think it would actually get this big. When I first started researching lawn care on YouTube in 2016, I started the business in 2017, so I was doing research, on YouTube. I found something to look at. He's a guy down in Orlando, and he had, at that time, those real tall grass. He was one of the few people doing that, tall grass mowing type videos. And based on the views he got, I said, oh wow, this could be something. And then whenever I posted my first video that kind of took off, that was tall grass, I said, oh, okay. So this is how you grow a channel. It's not about talking about how to send out lawn care flyers or, making a video every year on rate increase letters and how you can word them. It's, here's the work, watch me do it type deal. The Music Pro 1000, what was the worst job or project you ever had and what was the best? I'm going to cheat and say the same job that was the worst was also the best. And it was that very first super tall grass video that I ever did. So what happened was I had a realtor contact me out of the blue and say, hey, I've got this house that's on the market. It's not too bad overgrown. You know, we just need you to go clean it up, maybe trim some shrubs and everything. And it was in Jacksonville, which is 30 minutes away from me. So I said, well, what's your budget? And they said something like $300, which to me at that time was like, oh, so without even looking at the, because I would have had to drive 30 minutes to look at it, drive back home, say yes, say no, then go back, it was just, I was so stupid. I still am pretty stupid, but I was even more stupid back then. So anyways, yeah, that's what happened. And when we've got some little dogs. I don't know who these dogs belong to. They're the cutest things, but they're so stupid. I think it's a brother and sister, and they spent about 30 minutes. They spent about 30 minutes barking at a stone bear decoration that we have. They're knocking the camera around now. Stop! Get out of here! I'm trying to film. You silly puppies! You silly puppies! You sweet little puppies! What are you doing? These are sweet puppies. Sweet puppies, yes they are. Where did they come from? I don't know. They just showed up. They're so sweet and well behaved. Yes they are. Yes they are. Where's the good puppies? Where's the good puppies? Now this one has a pine cone. Do you want me to throw this pine cone? Every time he comes by, his stupid fat tail, quack, 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 knocks the camera out of frame. So anyways, I show up at the job and it is, the grass is 4 feet tall. If you haven't seen the video, it's a horrible mess. And I was there for like 5 or 6 hours, just like, what have I got myself into? This is ridiculous. I have no clue what I'm doing. But thankfully I stuck with it and filmed it. And that video is kind of what took my YouTube channel off, right? That was the beginning of everything. So for those 5 hours I was there, I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever done. I've made a terrible mistake, horrible life choice, but it ended up working out really well. That was the best and worst. John Ree, well, we have to ask you the most important question ever now. Are you really bald or is it a hairstyle? I mean, I guess technically it's a hairstyle. I have some hair. It's just extremely thin and the hairline is way up here. I do not like the way I look when my hair grows out past maybe 1/4 of an inch. So I'll shave very frequently. Probably every other day I'm shaving my head. Lincoln Sweezy, what's your favorite part about YouTube and lawn care? The money. Blade Mate Lawn Care. Hey, this is a gentleman down in Australia. If you like my videos, you're going to like his. You need to check him out. I was going to do Australian, but that was, I have to warm up the accents. Oi, from Blade Mate. Has being a YouTube success allowed you to step back for a bit from the daily lawn care grind? I feel like that was a little bit more British than it should have been. So it's a good question, and I don't know, since I'm even at my busiest, I was still part-time. I don't know if I'd ever say it let me step away from the grind because I wasn't really grinding to begin with. But I get what you're asking. And what it has done is let me realize that, for me at least, there's a path to success that doesn't involve, standard, what many people consider the standard way of success for a lawn care company. So that's, working 50 or 60 hours a week, and Monday through Friday you're working from sun up till sundown. What I'm finding is that some of these videos in 1 month after their release are generating more money in that month than I could have ever made all year mowing for someone, right? And that's just the first month those videos are up. So now I'm much more prone to say, well, let me just bid this yard at $30 so I get it and I can make a video on it, and then that video will make much, much more than I would ever have made busting my butt mowing for a full year straight. So I think that might answer what you're getting at. Jacob Hickson, do you ever think you will move to a bigger truck? Not going to lie, that Colorado carrying all that stuff is pretty funny. Yes, I am going to be getting a bigger truck. You'll have to stay tuned to see what and when. So here's your only hint is the truck I wanted I had to have built because I couldn't find one in any of the lots anywhere. So I am having a truck built. That's supposed to be an 8 to 12 week process, and I think we've probably got 6 to 10 weeks left in that time frame. So it'll still be a while before you see anything. Jordan Magnus, how long ago did you start your mowing business? I started January 2017. I started the YouTube channel April 2017. KJ Phillips, do you compare your price to others in your area? No, not really. I just figure out how much money I need to make something worth my time and bid it based off of that. I know I'm not the cheapest, so if somebody does want the cheapest or they give me issues with the price, it's not, I'll always say, if price is your only factor, I know I'm not the cheapest in town. If you just Google lawn care, Baker County or whatever, you can find somebody who'll probably be cheaper. Mr. Maverick, have you ever thought about getting another job or have you had a job before this? So we've covered that. I worked for Florida Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Florida, which is health insurance. I did retail customer service and sales during the last position in my company, or in that company. It wasn't my company. Have I ever thought about getting another job? No. I think as long as YouTube is providing for my family the way it has been this past year, I'm thinking this would probably be all I ever do is lawn care and making YouTube videos for the jobs that are like really crazy. Jalen Mason, when do you decide a lawn is too much and tell the potential customer, no, I can't or won't do your yard, find someone else? And I mow lawns myself, and I've been dying to ask this. How would you deal with a customer who refuses to be put on a schedule but calls you when they need you? So the first part of that, when do you decide a lawn is too much? Because of the types of videos I make, very rarely is a lawn too much. A lawn would be too much for me when the grass isn't tall enough, but it's a lot of work. So if I go up to a yard and I say, this is gonna be a ton of work, but not the kind of work that'll make a good video, that's when I might turn one down. But I'm much different than other lawn care guys who, a lot of the guys who have businesses on YouTube will say, overgrown lawns, you can't make money on them, they're a waste of time, there's too much risk for the money that you're gonna get, they usually are not gonna be good customers. None of that matters to me because I'm after making those videos that everybody, likes watching, right? And then that generates revenue. So that advice you have to take with a grain of salt because I run a very different operation than most folks on YouTube. And how would you deal with a customer who refuses to be put on a schedule but calls when they need you? I've had this happen a few times. The only time it's a real issue is when it's someone who I have to have on a schedule because they're a ways out. So if it's a guy that's 2 streets down from me and he just wants to call me whenever, I can fit him in and I have to pass his house anyway, so it's not going to be a super big deal. But when they're 15 minutes away, I have to cut their lawn the same time as all the other lawns that are 15 minutes away right next to him. Otherwise, that's an extra 30 minutes of drive time and gasoline and opportunity costs that I'm giving up. So I just tell them, because of your area, unfortunately, I have to have you on a schedule. Let me know if you want to get on a regular schedule, and I'd be happy to book you in. But unfortunately, I just can't do the one-time cuts anymore. That happened to me, that specific situation, and that's what I told a guy, and he just never wrote me back. So, I lost the client, but never had that problem again. So, Mr. ZMC, how long do overgrown yards usually take? If I wasn't filming, the tiny little yards that I like to target, probably 45 minutes to an hour. When I do film, you can add 30 or 40 minutes to that. Bricked Mike, when you get to 1 million subs, I hope I will, Bricked Mike, will you then also buy 10 of the golden play buttons? If it's an option, yes, I absolutely will. The Game Commander, do you remember the first lawn you ever mowed? Yes, I do. It was Mr. King's house. He was my very first client. Thank you, Mr. King. And it was terrible. Not because of Mr. King, but because my zero turn, it was like the day before I was supposed to get it or something. I can't remember the timing, but I had to use my residential push mower that I'd used for my yard. The issue with it was that the front wheels adjusted on their own up and down, and the tab that adjusted those was worn out. So when I was running over roots from this big oak tree, it was dropping the deck. So I actually scalped a big section of his backyard. Yeah, it was only like a foot long underneath the tree. But I had to like mow the whole yard, pushing down on the back of the mower so that it wouldn't drop again. It was terrible. That was the one and only yard I ever push mowed, because the next day I think I got that big dog zero turn. Never push mowed again. Never will push mow again. Why did you start YouTube? Hayden Baldwin. Hayden, initially it was going to be a portfolio, so I could say, hey, Mr. Johnson, you want your landscape redone? You bet. Here's Mr. Henderson's yard down the street that I just did. Let me send you a video so you can see the before and after. That's what it was going to be. Then I posted that one video that took off, and it changed into, let me entertain people and grow a lot faster. JC, do you do any kind of treatments for customers? No, I don't. The reason is because if you fertilize somebody's lawn, which legally I can do, and if you spray for weeds in their landscape bed, which legally I could do until I let the license expire. I don't do it anymore. If you do those things, they are going to ask, oh, I've got these brown spots in my yard that might be fungus, or I've got some weeds. Can you take care of those? And legally, in Florida, I will never be able to do that. And in fact, very few lawn care companies will, because part of the requirement to be able to apply any type of pesticide, herbicide, pesticide, anything that kills, including weed and feed. If you want to put something that kills on a lawn for money, you have to have a license, and one of the requirements is you work for a pest control company for 2 years. So what I found was the first couple years, I did as much as I could. I offered fertilization. I sprayed for weeds in beds. It was a lot of headache. It wasn't much money. And the thing that would have made the most money, which was treating weeds or fungus or bugs in a lawn, I wasn't able to do, and I would never be able to do. So there just wasn't any percentage in it, and so I stopped doing that really quickly. Matthew 12, what do you hope to do in the future? The same of what I'm doing now would be fine with me. If I could just keep doing this without, if I could do this and stay relevant forever, I think I'd be happy doing that. Do you think you will expand your business? I doubt it, unless the kids, when they are teenagers, want to help me out. But even then, I probably would just have them help me with the work. I don't think I'd like take on more customers. Like we would just knock out one of my work days really quickly as a family or something. Dylan Newland, when did you start? The business, January 2017. JCT Talks, what is your favorite type of lawn care? Tall grass mowing, oddly satisfying. Speed Shark 357, are you going to buy a few gold play buttons after reaching 1 million subs? Yes, I'm going to try. Chinese Republic VM, what ratio between chlorine, bleach, and water do you recommend? I don't actually mix anything. I just apply chlorinating liquid before pressure washing. Mauricio TJ, what business book do you recommend for starting a lawn care company, or just any business book that you found helpful overall? Mauricio, I'm not a big believer in business books or business courses or lawn care business courses. I think that everything you need to know about starting a business you can find for free on YouTube. Channels like Johnny Mow, Florida Turf Pros, Jason Creel, mainly, I think he's Lawn Care Life actually. That's more the lawn care maintenance side with chemicals. Lawn Care Millionaire, Mike Andes. Mike Andes would be more if you're trying to make a bigger company, not so much if you're just a solo guy. If you're just a solo guy, Johnny Mow and Florida Turf Pros are probably going to be the two best channels. They don't try and sell you anything. So everything they have, they're giving to you for free. They've got the best advice that I have seen. Countryside, he's got good stuff, but his is buried in like daily vlog type stuff. So if you're looking for the concise business information where it's just one video per topic, Florida Turf Pros, Johnny Mow, but Randy at the Countryside, he's got a lot of good stuff. But again, he like dispenses his knowledge during his work day, so you've got to sit through a longer video. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just trying to set your expectations depending on how much time you have. John Johnson, when will you be touring? Nobody's going to pay me to tour. Magnus Gold, when are you going to put more yard stuff up? I don't know what that means, but if you're talking about videos, I release new videos every single week. Cecil Chirumblo, how much editing goes into a time-lapse video? How much goes into a real-time? It's pretty much I edit the real-time video. That can take, depending on the video, 30 minutes to an hour. If it's just a straightforward lawn. Then once I have the real-time video, I'll just go ahead and shrink down parts of it faster and faster until I've got the time lapse I want. So there's not a ton of difference, there's not a ton of difference between the real-time and the time lapse. Leah McBride, what made you decide to start a YouTube channel? Wanted a portfolio to attract clients. Panda Love 17, what do you do in your spare time? I'm mainly a stay-at-home dad. Over the past 3 months, I've been really good about exercising every day. I've got this lawn care business, the YouTube. My wife works from home, so we usually spend a lot of our free time together as a family. We have gotten into RV camping lately, so one weekend a month we have been camping. We bought this November 2017, and every weekend we have been for one weekend RV camping somewhere. That is probably the extent of what I do. Oh, my kids really like this game called Stardew Valley on PlayStation 4. So every once in a while we'll sit down and, maybe once or twice every other week we'll sit down and play that for a few hours. Adrian Clark, who are you and why are you in my recommended? Adrian, I'm still trying to figure out both of those. May I help you landscapes and lawn care? What would you say has been your best business decision to this point? It has been to not worry about what traditional lawn care providers think of me. So during the first 2 or 3 years, you can go back and watch my videos, I was very straight-laced and I tried to present myself as almost like a this old house for lawn care. I was very, this is why you should use this type of string in your trimmer. I was very fact-based because I was worried that because I didn't have a lot of experience that if I just said my opinion is, it wouldn't go over well. So anyways, I was very concerned about what other lawn care companies would think of me. This life light's back. I think actually at this point they're probably just doing training. They're just driving around, ruining my video. How selfish. How dare you try and get training on your life-saving skill? I'm trying to film a YouTube video. Get your priorities right. So I was very worried about what other lawn care companies would think of me. Over the past year and a half, I have really, I don't want to say come into my own because that sounds cliche, but I'm not really ashamed anymore of what I'm doing, entertaining people more than teaching them about business. And to be honest, I've always been a little bit of a class clown. So leaning into that and not really caring about focusing on business or that kind of a thing, that has helped me out a lot. If I was still trying to be straight-laced and imitating the other guys on YouTube who were talking more about businesses and stuff, I would not have the success I have today. Success all being relative, mind you. David Jr. 32937, what music do you use in a lot of your videos? They're all the free stuff you can get from the YouTube audio library, but most of them are, I think, Dan Leibowitz. He does some country bluegrass stuff. Robbie Golding, do you have any employees? Nope, just me, Robbie. Blake House, how did your channel become so successful? Because I post, I'm consistent, so you'll have a lot of lawn care guys who have been doing this longer than I have. Their channel shut down in the winter and they don't upload anything. YouTube really doesn't like that. So even though they've been doing this 2 or 3 years longer than me, they have much lower, if you want to say success. I don't like saying it that way because it makes it sound like they're doing something wrong. But I mean, if you're in Ohio, what are you going to do, right? You can't film lawn mowing when it's snowing outside. So that's one thing. I've posted, like 2 videos a week for the first 3 years. This last year, I've gone down to 1 a week. But unless there's been a family emergency, I'm always posting every single week. That helps a lot, consistency, and then the type of content I produce. It's just this entertaining stuff that YouTube can push out to people who don't even have lawns, that are never going to own a pressure washer in their life, right? But if you're the type of channel that's geared directly towards lawn care business advice, well, then you're just going to get a subset of a subset of a subset of a subset for your audience, and you're never going to do very well. You're going to help a lot of people, but you're not going to have a lot of growth, in my opinion. And in my opinion, based on all the evidence I've seen from 4 years of being on YouTube. Umair Khan, you make very cool videos. What's your advice to new YouTubers just starting to put videos forward? Don't worry so much about how they look or their content. Just start making them. Then look at other people's videos and figure out what they're doing that you like and imitate that. So if the videos you like are tripod shots that give you a full view of the action, don't sit on your zero-turn mower and hold your phone and try and film yourself mowing grass like this. It's not going to work out well. Eric Swanson, would Copper Creek Cuts ever expand? Doubtful, unless my kids want to help me one day. Chicken Nugget Man, what's your favorite type of music? EDM. Back in the day it was called techno, but when it was called techno, people looked at you weird if that's what you claimed to listen to. Nowadays, at some point in the last decade or so, it transitioned to EDM and kind of got more mainstream. KJ Phillips, which social media platform produces the most revenue for you? YouTube is the only social media platform that produces revenue for me. Instagram is a different kind of beast altogether. I've got 3- and 4-year-old videos. I don't guess they're 4 yet. I've got 3-year-old videos on YouTube that are doing just as well for me monetarily today as they did 3 years ago. Instagram, for one, I don't know if you can monetize your posts. I've been out of that game for like 2 or 3 years. But the other thing about Instagram is it's very much what have you done for me lately. So if you're not posting every day on Instagram, you're not going to stay relevant and you're not going to grow. And I hate that. I did not like that method of, I just didn't like it. What do you look for when pricing a commercial property versus a residential property? It's pretty much the same. It's all based on time. The issue is you have to be much more cognizant of everything you might have to do because you've got one shot to bid it for the full year. And if you realize you underbid some portion of it, that's going to trickle through the whole year and it's going to ruin everything. With residential, there's a lot less, I don't know if skin in the game is the right phrase, but you've got a lot less risk when it comes to pricing things. Linas Krulikauskas. Sorry. What is your definition of a nice looking lawn? For me, it's going to be like a St. Augustine, nice, thick, lush, green St. Augustine with no weeds. How many requests have you done? I don't know what you mean by requests, so I can't answer that question. AB, what is more important to you, lawn care or YouTube? I think I've got to have both at this point. One doesn't work without the other. Do you ever feel like doing something else than lawn care, though you took that job on another level, but still do you ever feel like that? Do you ever feel like doing something else than lawn care, though you took that job on another level? I'm not entirely sure I understand the question, but I do think I've probably answered it in the other stuff we've talked about. What are you going to do with those 10 play buttons, including one more that is on the way? So 6 of them, 6 of them are hanging in my office. 4 of them were sent as gifts, and well, 5 technically. One was sent to Jack Massey Welsh at Jack Sucks at Life. One was sent to Bobcat. One was sent to the marketing company that works with Bobcat. One was sent to Echo. One was sent to the marketing company that works with Echo as thank yous for all they had done to help me get to where I was. Why did you choose your enclosed trailer setup instead of an open one? Because I was a little bit paranoid about people snatching stuff, stealing stuff. I don't know. And I also liked the idea of having kind of like a rolling billboard. David Jr., again, good to see you again, sir. Where would you move if not Florida? If this is just like a fantasy where I can go anywhere I want, it would be a toss-up between Alaska, and I would just like live off the land, but I don't like cold, so I don't think that would work out, or Hawaii, and I would just snorkel and spearfish all day. Antimatter, do I need a degree or diploma or any course to start lawn care in America? Federally, no. I can't answer that question though because it depends on where you live. Your state, your county, your city, municipality, they may require things. Where I live, I don't need anything except a business license at the county tax collector's office that costs like, I don't know, 20 bucks for a year. MW, can I borrow $50 for, let's say, forever? How about $50 for, let's say, for never? Sorry, that was kind of mean. Zara A, did you ever had a job before you started lawn mowing? Yes, we covered that. Are you the owner of the business? Yes, I'm the sole proprietor of Copper Creek Cuts, doing business as Brad Bear. Brad Bear doing business as Copper Creek Cuts. Owen Ziegler, what's your favorite mower? Probably the 36-inch Bobcat because it saves me from having to push mow lawns. Tiny backyards that I can't fit in. Do you have other people who work with you or are you independent? It is just me. Can do Minecraft. Can you show a zoomed picture of your channel icon? I'm assuming that's so you can steal the logo, which you can probably find more creative ways to do. Can you reach 1 million subs? I don't know. Infinite Nub, is your business nationwide? No. Is it only local? Yes. And are you the owner of the company? Yes. Ryan Coffee, how do you not get burnt out doing the work you do? I do get burnt out. August and September, I hate what I'm doing. I hate it. I'm just so ready for it to quit. Thankfully, I'm in North Florida, so October it starts slowing down. November, December, January, February, there's actually fairly little lawn care work to do. Server management, did you ever think about doing something that's not lawn care? And if so, what would you have done? Kind of covered that already. At this point, I don't think I'd do anything different. Evexter Benjamin, where are your silver play buttons now? Hanging above my desk. The Music Pro 1000, what's your favorite dinosaur? Ankylosaurus. Megan Pinkham Games, what do you hate about customers? What do I hate about customers? Where to begin? No, there's very little. I've had very good success with the people that I've ran into that most of them I have not had any issues. I'm trying to think. I'll have to circle back to that one. Mustavar Bazaar, why do you mow lawn for free? Because I make money on the YouTube video. KJ Phillips, how do you handle a customer insisting on something you wouldn't recommend? Example, they want you to mow their St. Augustine at 1 inch or something crazy. If it's mowing, I just tell them I don't go lower than 2.5 inches. I did have somebody who asked me to go lower and I dropped them. I said, because of the roots in your yard and generally because of the health of the grass, I just won't cut lower than 2.5. And I understand if that's what you want, but I just can't provide it. I'm sorry. Blizzard Gaming Reviews. Have you ever been in the military and is your business local or is it across the U.S.? No and local. Hard Bro Gaming, your best project. I guess that's that first tall lawn. Tabby Cats, what is your opinion on goats? I think goats are the greatest of all time. For Oriente, on average, how much money would you say to start your own lawn care business? That depends. That's one of those questions where if you want to do it for $500, you can. If you want to do it for $5,000, you can. If you want to do it for $15,000, you can still find a way to spend all that money. What I would encourage folks to do if they have an interest is to start a part-time lawn care business when you do not need the money. When you have the free time but don't need the money. Because what that lets you do is pour all the money back into the business. And if you ever get to a point where you really do need that income, you lose your job or you're going to have a kid or something, you will have had time to reinvest back in the business. And when you need that money, you're going to be a lot more efficient because you'll have a better mower or, you know, a bigger mower or nicer equipment, that kind of thing. Shreya, do you have kids? Of what age? Yes, 2 kids under 10. Malaysian Boss, what is your PC specs? I have no clue. Twinkle Toes, how does anybody get rid of an 18-inch deep mat of very old English ivy? I would search on YouTube. David Jr., I like how many you're doing, David. What do you like better, commercial property or residential? Residential. Dual and cut and trim, if you don't hit 200,000 subs, will you still do the Q&A? No, I won't. Knit you. Have you had any clients not pay you? Yes. Did you suspect something wasn't right before you did their lawn? No, but it was when I first started and I was still trusting people. So now I just do credit card on file beforehand, and that's not an issue anymore. Hard Bro Gaming and favorite machine, 36-inch mower. Bonita Boys, how big is Copper Creek Cuts personnel-wise? 1, a lawn care company in Northeast Florida. You know my intro well. Katie Ringgold, do you like doing smaller or larger lawns? Smaller. I can't price larger lawns competitively. What's the worst yard you have ever done? Covered that. Do you have kids or pets? 2 kids, 2 pets, cats. Nathan King Overland, if you had to choose between only being able to eat Neapolitan ice cream sandwiches for the rest of your life and being forced to use a fire hydrant for a chair anytime you sat down for the rest of your life, what color would you paint the fire hydrant? Interesting. Lime green, like the polos. Josh the Yoda, Yoda. Did you ever think there would be a whole lawn care community when you first started the channel? When I started the channel, there already was one. So I started in 2017, and I think most of the original guys started in 2014. So I had been watching some of them when I was researching the company in 2016, starting my company. Eternal Zim, did you set out to make money on YouTube or just to share your craft, or both? Answered that, but yeah, initially just to share the craft so that I could show other people locally, hey, this is what I can do for you. Then quickly realized that the real money is in entertaining people. Coffee drinker, what do you do if the customer has dogs and doesn't pick up after them? Usually I just mow right over it. And if it ever gets stuck in the tires, I'll use the customer's hose or whatever to rinse off. It's kind of like my statement, like, hey, this isn't okay. I'm going to mow over this dog poop, but it's not okay. I'm going to use your hose to rinse it off. Blake House, what is your favorite lawn care tool? Have you ever gotten injured by a tool? Favorite tool would probably be an edger because it makes the most before and after difference. As far as injury, I have ran over my foot a few times back in stand-ons off of the trailer, but I wear steel-toed, so it didn't do anything. I've ripped fingernails off a few times when I wasn't paying attention, or if I was trying to start a string trimmer, or an edger from a weird angle. Sometimes your fingernail will get caught in some part of the shroud and rip it off, but that's probably the worst. Ibrahim Ali, much more interesting than I thought this would be when I first saw your video. Franchise plans? Thank you, and no. I doubt I'll even take this business full-time, let alone franchise. Owen Ziegler, what was your favorite lawn you cut? Also love the vids. Gotta say, that first one has a special place in my heart because it was the first. Mr. Beast, I'm not thinking that's the real Mr. Beast. When are you gonna make a video with your lawn care setup for 2021? It'll probably be a while because some things are gonna change. You might be able to tell from the background. Mower, when should you stop fertilizing your lawn? That is a question that completely depends on where you live in the country and what type of lawn you have, so I can't answer that. Christopher Fuller, hey, have you thought about opening up a lawn care business here in Augusta/Hephzibah, Georgia area? No, I haven't thought about opening up a lawn care business anywhere other than here. Little Bird, do you have advice on a small lawn that gets overgrown with mushrooms in the fall? I really mean a lot. 3 containers worth of mushrooms last fall. You need to develop your marketing skills and sell your organic, homegrown, all-natural vegan mushrooms. That's not a problem, that's an opportunity. Rogie, will you ever do a gaming channel? No. Jas Charles, what blend of fertilizer do you use? I do not. Covered that earlier. Do you provide other services like thatching? No, it's not really. I live in a very rural area. Lawn care is seen as more of a chore than a status symbol, so at least the customers I have, I don't get very many add-ons like that. It's pretty much just mow it so the HOA doesn't send me, the homeowners association doesn't send me a fine or something. Evan Romero, have you ever encountered animals like cats in really tall grass? Have you ever hit any? What do you do with them? Thankfully, I have not ran over anything other than like insects and the occasional reptile with the mower, no mammals. There was a squirrel one time that I found paralyzed. I mowed, didn't see him, then came back and he was laying right out in the open and was paralyzed. And the vet, I took him to a vet. They had to put him down. It was a squirrel. Did I say that? I'm convinced I did something. They said I didn't, I guess based on, you know, it didn't look like there was external injuries, but he was not there and then he was, so I don't know. But that was the worst probably. But so if I ever like truly ran over something, I think that would be very difficult to get over for me. That would be tough. ZippyYee0001, do you ever mow your own lawn? Yes, but not as much as I should. William Anders, how many yards do you do? Will you employ kids? If they're my kids and if they want to work, yes. How many yards do you do? It depends, because I've got lots of folks on bi-weekly. So you know, I might have 30 or 40 clients, but I'm only doing like 20 yards a week, because some of them are every other week. Some of them call me when, you know, the dog gets lost when he goes out, and that's when they need it cut. Do you ever refuse to service lawns? What are the requirements to refuse service? This is from Tyler Milley. I also saw another comment asking if you could do a gaming channel. What are the chances of that happening? Do you make any money off YouTube? On average, how long does it take you to service a lawn? I do refuse to service them. I think I talked about why earlier. If they're a lot of work, but not the kind of work that'll make a good video. No gaming channel, the chances of that happening are 0. Do you make any money off YouTube? Yes. On average, the service the lawn, the ones I like to do if I'm not filming 30 minutes. Cynthia Lancaster, why do lawn care providers cut grass too short, scalping and killing it? Scott, Southern Livings, Grumpy Gardener, and state agricultural schools all provide guidelines about optimal. I either cut your sentence off or that was it. Yeah, well, so one thing is, I don't know if you're talking about in your local experience. Sometimes they're just trained from clients who just say cut it short if they don't do their research. So like around here, St. Augustine, I won't cut lower than 3 inches, but there are people who want it cut shorter than that. So it's just one of those things where that could be what the client, like I don't know if you're looking at someone else's yard and saying, oh, they're cutting that too short. The client may want them to cut it that short. And like, you know, at the end of the day, it's if they're going to give their business to somebody else, or I mean, it's going to get cut short by somebody. It might as well be you and make the money, kind of thing. So I'm not 100% sure if your question was they're cutting your lawn too short, or you see them cutting others short, or you see them on YouTube being cut too short. And what I'll say there is that can actually be a little tough to tell on a camera how tall it actually is, because if I go in and mow St. Augustine that's over 1 foot tall down to 3 inches, which is a perfectly acceptable height for certain cultivars, the cultivars around here, it'll look brown and yellowed, and you will say, oh, he cut that too short. I have hundreds of comments of people who say, oh, you cut that too short. I'm like, no, it's 3 inches, or it's 3.5, or it's 4. Whatever the case is, it just looks bad because you cut 8 inches of it off. So a couple different answers to your question there, depending on what you're getting at. But that is the end of the questions. I think we're probably close to an hour. So thank you guys so much again for 200,000 subscribers. Thank you for the questions. If you have any more, well, I guess you'll have to wait until we hit 300,000, and then you can ask them then. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really do appreciate it.